What is up, everybody? This is Dark Macek with Brutally Delicious, coming at you with a review of Megadeth's brand new album, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. We're back with the punctuation. So a bit of background here. I got into Megadeth when I was like 12 or something, and I'm 30 right now, so long history with this band. As such, I cannot do a standard review here, and baby, we are doing a track by track. Some general comments on the album before I start. I've generally been a little dismissive of Megadeth's post-reunion efforts. I've always thought The System Has Failed is great and very underrated and a very honest album, but most of the stuff after that I think was kind of contrived. I didn't love Dystopia as much as everyone else did. I thought Endgame was pretty good, but not amazing, whereas 13 was absolute shit, and I don't particularly care for United Abominations or Super Collider minus one or two songs. With that out of the way, I am pleased to say this album did not disappoint. Jumping right into it, track 1, title track, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. The same day as Blind Guardian releases an album, they release a song that also has a Monty Python reference. I'm of course referring to Inquisition, which is the opening track of Follow the Blind. This was a killer album starter. This is not at all like typical Megadeth, but I think it's very well written, and clearly they put effort into this. I'm tempted to say that this might be their best song since Washington Is Next. Track 2, Life in Hell. This is Dystopia style until the breakdown. Good riffing and a good chorus. Wow, Dirk is a monster. And regarding this spoken section in the middle, when the hell did Dave Mustaine become a bass? Track 3, Night Stalkers, one of the singles. This is really good heavy shit. Dirk kills this harder than any Megadeth drummer in recent memory, and this is heavier riffing than anything since at least Endgame, maybe the classic era. Track 4, Dogs of Chernobyl. Fans are already wild over this one on meme pages that I'm on. It kind of reminds me of Poisonous Shadows from Dystopia. The second half is glorious. Very heavy for modern Megadeth, but also pretty cleverly written. A lot of their post-System Has Failed stuff have felt very much dialed in. This, again, it feels like they're reinvigorated. Maybe it's because of Dirk on the drums, I don't know, but it's great. Sacrifice, track 5. This sounds like modern Megadeth. It's a bit of a letdown after the previous tracks, fairly like mid-tempo and meddling, not very thrash. Junkie, track 6. This sounds like one of the slower songs on Endgame, kind of reminds me of like Bodies or Bite the Hand. Maybe a little Dystopia style, but the chorus is like the best part of 13, maybe like Guns, Drugs, and Money, but not that dumb. I think the spoken part is a little unnecessary, but it's still a good song, one I'll definitely revisit. Track 7, Psychopathy. I don't really know what the hell this is. It's kind of like I Know Jack. It's a weird, not really song, but still a track on the album that just kind of creates a vibe. I don't know what to say. Track 8, Killing Time. Another fairly typical modern track. I wish it were faster, but it's not bad, and the chorus was pretty good. Track 9, Soldier On. This is a better mid-tempo track. It was one of the singles, so we've already heard it quite a bit. The chorus is really cool, and I like the lead part there. The outro part where they're singing like Army March something or other, I don't know what term of that's pretty funny. Track 10, Célebutante. This is pretty new wave of British heavy metal from Megadeth. It sounds kind of like Crown of Worms, which is a non-album single, but with faster drums. Pretty typical chorus for the album, not a bad thing, but great guitar solos. Track 11, Mission to Mars. This is pretty poppy writing from them, but I think it's actually refreshing. A lot of their previous releases, I know I've sort of hinted at this, were either contrived levels of heavy where Dave was just trying to dial it in, or this sort of boredom we found on Super Collider. This actually comes off like clever songwriting. Track 12, We'll Be Back, the last proper track in the album. This is a fucking banger and a great choice for the first single. I so want to hear this live. Stylistically, it's pretty similar to The Threat Is Real, it's just way better. There are then two covers that come with this edition of the album. There's Police Truck by the Dead Kennedys. This is really fun, and Mustaine does surprisingly well with Jello's vocal style, so kudos. And then there's the Sammy Hagar song, This Planet's on Fire, which Sammy actually guests on. I would not have guessed this to be a Hagar cover if it weren't listed. They really made it their own, so good for you. I like it. I need to let this sit for a bit, but I'm tempted to say this is at least their best album since The System Has Failed. I really like this. I think Dave actually gave a shit this time instead of just trying to make fans happy so he can continue paying his mortgage. I don't know how to compare it to their 90s or 80s material, but this is definitely refreshing, and I don't feel the need to say it's good for new Megadeth. Dave Mustaine is 60. Who knows how many more albums he has left in him at all, let alone how many more good ones. As a lifelong fan, I'm going to say, if this is their last album, I think it'd be a fine one to go out on. Request from a lifelong fan. Dave, I know you're trying to stay relevant by opening for Five Finger Death Punch, but for fuck's sake, go out there and headline again. This album deserves its own headlining promotional tour. Until next time, rock on.